Hello, this is Kate at the Ordinary Earth Song. Yeah, so it's been a while. Hope you're all well. I just got the message that there's a conversation to be had. So I'm going to start the conversation, I guess, with the use of my incredible cards that I made one day at a random suggestion to myself. So I use these. I might use other cards as well, like official ones. These cards, I've been told, are going to be used to prompt thought, to prompt messages, to prompt things coming through. So we'll just see how this goes. Won't necessarily post it. Might do, might not. Depends what comes out. I don't. Depends on what comes out. It depends on whether or not I finish the reading, and stuff. Okay, let's just see. Let's just see what happens. I don't know. I have no idea what's happening right now. So let's just see. So these are cards that I created. They're words that popped into my head or came up during a whole day. And this was just in one day. And these words kept coming into my consciousness or popping into things I was reading or watching, and they would just sort of pop out. So I'd write them down, and then I would look up alternative words so that there were links to other thoughts. That's basically to prompt thoughts, right? So the first word is tolerance. Now, interesting. Tolerance, strength, and patience popped out to me in there as well. Strength and patience, tolerance, being tolerant of others, tolerance of your own thought processes, tolerant of other people's thought processes and their belief systems, and which is difficult sometimes. I find myself being more and more less tolerant than I sometimes think I should be of certain things. I find myself saying more and more frequently, that is ridiculous, or yeah, I do wonder sometimes about my own tolerance. But we tolerate a lot, actually, if you think about what's going on in the world and what is carrying on, what is happening, and what we allow to carry on, what we allow to happen. Then I'm looking at the word strength. If you can't read my handwriting, I don't blame you, to be honest with you. I mean, there's got an extra letter in there somehow. Strength, tolerance of my own inability to write with a consistent alphabet. Patience and tolerance. Let's just see what comes out. I start having thoughts. Start having streams of thinking. Patience with the self. Patience with others. Non-conformity. Free-spirited. That says spirited, but it's supposed to say spirited. Marginality. Oh, that's interesting. Being marginalised. Being popped into a box. Being non-conformist is being saying, no, you can't put me in that box. You're not allowed to put me in that box. I'm not going into that box, and you're not locking me in it. It's being rebellious. It's being individual, unconventional, tolerant and non-conforming. Assimilation. Conforming. That's interesting. That's where you've acclimatized. That's where you've become tolerant of things, become used to things. You've settled into something. You've become so familiarized to it that you've adapted to it. You become that flexible component that's allowing it to continue. But non-conformity suggests the opposite. I'll put that there. It's being intolerant. It's saying no more. It's tolerance is also related to resilience and endurance and hardiness, and patience and strength. But it's also a byproduct of assimilating, of adapting, of orienting yourself, acclimatizing to the point of tolerance, of acceptance. Non-conformity is like, it just feels to me like the polar opposite. Getting to the point of realizing that what you're tolerating isn't quite what you were hoping it was going to be, or what you thought it was going to be, and I'm saying you, I mean me as well. I'm saying you as in everything. What do we tolerate that we have assimilated to that doesn't work with us anymore, for us anymore, that we would then decide to rebel against it and say no more? This is not acceptable. Unveiling, uncovering, releasing, revealing something. So something's being revealed, something is being uncovered, something's been brought into the light, being made visible, made obvious to people to actually realise this is not working anymore. This thing that we've assimilated to in life is no longer working. We were tolerant of it before because we could make it work for us. But now we realise we can't make it work anymore. This is a broken thing. That's creating discord, strife, disharmony, dissonance. People are going into conflict with not only... There's conflicts in the world right now, right? There's wars, there's more war, and more conflict, and I mean, it's kind of disgusting what's happening right now if you think about everything. Not kind of, it definitely is disgusting right now. It's a... yeah. And there's definitely a sense of friction in the air. And it's being... it could be used, this could be used to decide not to conform anymore. It's unveiling a deep truth to what was once tolerant. It's creating discord, and so non-conformity. And we are feeling it. We have become aware of it. Now, I think one of the things that potentially is disturbing about this whole thing is that there are people that are fully on board with allowing it to continue, and there are those that are fully on board with wanting it to stop. And it seems to be at the moment that those that want to allow it to continue have the power to make it continue, whereas the people that want it to stop, to come to an end, to come to an agreement, feel like shouting in the wind when trains going by. No one can hear what you're saying, or screaming into that sound that is overbearingly taking out all the words, all the feeling. It's just being drowned by the sensation and the feeling of a train going by, and it's drowning it out. Okay. What what can we do about that? Is this just a general sort of pointing it out type thing? Because I don't think we need to have it pointed out to us that these things are happening, and that this is potentially what is happening. Obviously, it's kind of amazing that these cards have come out at this point in time when we've got all this stuff that's going on right now, and this is a clear message about, well, for me it seems like a clear message about some of the things that are happening in the world, and we don't need to continue accepting. I mean, if we break this down into a more kind of personal level, kind of suggests that what's happening in the wider world could be happening on the individual level as well. There are things happening. We're seeing it externally, we're also seeing it in our own lives. We're seeing a sense of discord, a sense of things being revealed that we are no longer happy about, and that we want to change. We want to stop being put into that kind of container of what we've assimilated to. Oh, archetype. Archetype. Now, interesting, when I looked up the word archetype, we get, in the spiritual kind of world, you hear the word archetypes or something, and they are things that we associate with and have given qualities to, so that when we come across that archetype, we can use that as an indication of a message to do with that kind of content, that kind of the personality of the archetype that we've given the archetype, essentially the content of what makes the archetype, like we've got the archetype of the queen, we've got the archetype of the king, the emperor, those are archetypes. We've also got the archetype cards. Maybe I should be using them as well. It's what we classically align certain things to represent, so that we can, when we come across those things in life, we can go, I've just seen something that symbolised the emperor, so that means whatever that means for you, because the emperor does have a very specific meaning in tarot, etc., etc. It's the epitome, the classical, the model, the original. But it also means prototype. It's the prime example. Be the prime example. Be the archetype. Create a new archetype. Model the behaviour of an archetype. By feeling the meaning behind your intent. Create change. Become nonconformist by embodying your inner archetype. How do you know which one to choose? How do you know which archetype you are? How do you know how to create what would a new archetype look like? And there's a lot of them. Look at the archetypes deck. There's a lot of cards in here. Flew out. The Orphan. The abandoned child. Now, as I said that, I went quiet. The message was that not all orphan children were abandoned. They were actually given new hope by being allowed to live a life outside the life they would have had if they'd stayed where they were. Choosing to be the orphan, choosing to live the life outside the life you would have had if you stayed where you were, choosing to leave behind and move into a new version of self that you wouldn't have had if you stayed where you are. Your parental line is what sets off your programming in the first instance. Then it moves into school, friends, teachers, work, colleagues, other people. It's always other people. The orphan is giving hermit energy, but it's also giving choosing to become independent of previous programming, previous thinking, or previous assimilations. It's the choice. It's the choice. It's the ability to say no more, choosing to be nonconformist. Being nonconformist means you realise what you're conforming to and you're deciding no more. I choose to no longer be that way. I no longer choose to accept the box I've put myself in. I thought there was going to be something else coming out of there, but no. We'll talk about archetypes. And I wonder if the orphan archetype is about... These cards are always about two things, at least. And one, abandonment. The other is new start, new beginning, choosing. And this is about, I believe, about choosing. Let's just see what the book says. The wounded child, the abandoned, the beggar. Sorry. Excuse me. To study the orphan is to study the deep and challenging energy of our time. We are ever more connected, yet face collective isolation. The refugee crisis haunts our planet. Children are separated from parents, and the earth begs for our attention. We are in a time of universal orphanage, of nature, of each other, of our own hearts. Take refuge in the fact that we all share this care, wound, and dilemma. Core wound. That's interesting. We all share this care wound, is how I read it. We do share a care wound. A wound to our ability to care and act. A wound, a care wound. Like, we can tell ourselves that we care, but we don't have to do anything about it, really. It's not actually our problem. And I can say that because I've felt that and I have thought that. It's not my problem. What can I do anyway? It's being powerless. A care wound. And that is a core wound to humanity because it allows things to carry on. We all share this core wound and dilemma. It is normal to fear this card as it haunts the caverns of the soul. When it appears, take time, real time, to be in the presence of the feelings this card stirs in you. Let it humble you. What are you starving for? What is the deepest gift you could imagine giving to others? What has been rejected is quite possibly what is most needed, dear one. Tenderness beyond tenderness is required. Imagine holding yourself in your hands to recognize that each one of us fears rejection and isolation is to take one step toward the orphan. More kindness, always. Access this archetype through creative acts like drawing, painting, or writing. Keep it simple. Ask the orphan what it wants to draw, make, or say. When light, deep solace, deep acceptance, deep love. When dark, distance, hates and avoids, controlling, limiting. Interesting card to draw in this reading. Assimilation again. I've got 2 assimilation cards. This one's different. Slightly, isn't it? I've got conformity, acclimatization, and in this one I've got absorption, familiarization, and soaking up. I think that says digest. And this one's got adaptation and settling in, conforming. The fact that I've just pulled both of those in such a... because I don't know how many cards are in here, but there's a lot. Because assimilation works always. We're always assimilating. It's a never-ending loop of assimilation. We learn, assimilate, do. Learn, assimilate, do. Learn, assimilate. As things change, you have to do that. I was just told to look at the bottom of the deck and look comprehension. You understand? You know what I'm saying? It's a loop. This is a process. It's the process of this is the process that we've come to know in our programming as human beings or as life, right? We assimilate, we tolerate, we adapt, we unveil what that means and what that does. We move into discord. Discord creates the need for non-conformity and change because we feel we have the experience of the discord in this existence. And we create new. And we have what's the archetypes? The archetypes. I just heard the word guidance. And we are guided throughout this process of assimilation, survival, programming, experience, life. We are connected. It's all codified. Yes. So this was an interesting one when I heard this word and thought of this. It's interesting that most of these cards are white. Anyway. Because that's part of the assimilating, actually thinking about it. If we're codifying it, we're putting a means to repeatedly understand it. It's like we're putting a program, we're writing the program as we're going along, and we are changing the program as needed. And then as we assimilate it, we've codified it, we've embedded it into ourselves, we've integrated it into who we are, and we've become tolerant of that. And it's multi-layered because it's constantly going on, it's constantly happening. We don't just learn everything when we're a child. We don't. That's not what happens. We learn certain things when we are children. Walking and talking. But as we grow up, we learn new words. We learn new ways of expressing those words. We learn humour. We learn anger. We learn love language. We may learn to speak in light language or in tongues or whatever. We may learn a different language. Every one of those is a different layer of understanding what can be done with language. Now I've drawn a spiral because those are the layers. They could be cycles. They create the lenses that we're looking through, consciousness. The layers create veils of understanding and distortions, because when we look back to our history, our memories, we know memories are not perfect. We do distort them, conflate them, downplay them, upplay them. The fish was bigger than it actually was. And to the point where we actually start believing that's what happened. And that's exactly what we remember from then onwards. So unpicking that programming, the layers of the programming, is a layered process. Now, it's important here that you understand These cards and their colours mean nothing. But this is a very white, blue and pink reading. Oh, and I'm not sure why that would be. Oh, there's too many. I'm taking that one. I'm going to take, let's take a yellow one. Let's take two yellow ones. Growth. Okay, yeah, because in this process of assimilation and tolerance and stuff, and this multi-layer, this is the spiral. We grow by deciding when not to become conformist anymore. We grow when we decide we want to change. We want things to be different. We grow as people, as individuals, as societies, when we take action to create an alternative way of doing things. Things change. We grow. That is growth. That is evolution. That is movement. Change, progress, headway. It's coexistence is required because that's what we have to do. We're humans, we're pack animals. When we find our pockets of harmony and peace, it doesn't necessarily work across the bloody planet though, does it? Anything else wants to come out here? Okay. Interesting. Neutrality, not taking sides. I just got in my head take a green card, and it was the first one that popped out. So in my, there was some other ones there, but neutrality, objectivity, of course. Of course. To be the orphan, to choose to be the orphan, to choose to be the one that steps away and says, no, I'm going to move out of that programming. I want to be different. I want to grow. I want to be new. I want to develop. I want to change. I want to evolve. Something that we're not very good at doing as a race of people. And we can use this word really quite well, but I don't know how well we actually do it. And that's about being objective. It's about being neutral. It's the third bloody perspective, right? It's the overview. This is the ability to see both sides of all stories. It's one thing we tend to forget, I think, maybe, is that there only ever really appears to be one side of the story because we're all the main character in our own lives. And the main character has the storyline. The point there, though, is that everybody is their own main character and everybody has their own storyline. So therefore, everybody has a reason to be right about what they're thinking and what they believe. Everybody. No matter how disgusting these billion people over here think that these other people over here are, or vice versa, for believing what they believe. No matter how stupid you think they are. Being neutral is one of the most challenging things you can be as a human being. because we are predispositioned towards having an opinion, making a judgment, justifying ourselves, because we know that's what we need to do, and expecting therefore other people to do the same thing. Neutrality doesn't require justification. Neutrality doesn't require judgment. Neutrality doesn't require any kind of opinion or need to be right. It is not taking side. It is detachment. It is the third perspective. It is impartial. It is objective. It is the unbiased witness. And I think that people probably find that to be an alien concept because it feels distant. It feels uninvolved. It feels uncaring. Is it though? And that's a genuine question. Something to mull over. Is true objectivity uncaring? Is true neutrality uncaring? Just got the words Orphan Black. I never watched that programme. Is there anything else that needs to come out right now in this neutrality topic, or the topic of assimilation, tolerance, growth? Anything else you need to say right now? Programming, the human condition, encoded. We are calibrated to be in the human condition. Credibility. That is the human. This is okay. This is the human condition, right? We are programmed. We are neurologically programmed and calibrated to fit into the society that we are born into. We are taught certain things in that society. We are given certain elements of history. We are told right from wrong. We are given thought systems that we then integrate into ourselves so that we can therefore function within the society within acceptable parameters of behaviour. Because that gives us credibility, it gives us prospects, it gives us a sense of integrity, because we are acting to the parameters that we have been provided. So I want to do this now. We learn to live in coexistence through this programming, the cycle of credibility, coexistence, programming, credibility, coexistence, programming. But over here, we're looking for movement, we're looking for change, we're looking for growth, we're looking for something new. What are we looking for? So I put words into this that were going to be challenging. Patterns of behaviour, designed, arranged, moulded, repetitive. Access. Admission, entry, that allows us access. Access into the world, access into survival, access into business, access into work life, access into relationships, and they have consequences. They always have consequences. There's always consequences. What I mean by that is sorry, I'm realising that half of this is happening in my head and I need to explain what I'm thinking, what's coming in. We've got this pattern of coexistence, credibility, and programming. And it creates a repetitive pattern of relationship building where we can carry on accessing. It's a continuation of the access process. We can carry on accessing life. We can carry on accessing being human. We can carry on accessing survival. We can carry on accessing all of that stuff. This is comfortable. This is who we've become. This is who we are. This is programmed. Fine. I'm a human being. I'm absolutely 100% on board with the fact that I'm programmed to live this way. This is who I am. This is how I function. This is the way the world works. Anyway, why would I want to be any different? Why would things need to change? We wouldn't ask that question until certain things are being unveiled and we start witnessing something that isn't quite resonating anymore. Until that happens, we are in a state of this pattern. When this pattern helps us access. The consequences of that, however, are that we live in a loop. We live in a cycle of behaviour. And when things happen and they come along and they show us discord, truths are unveiled, we see these things and we experience the feeling of dissonance, disharmony, friction. We start realising that this system doesn't really work that well. And it hurts because we realise that whilst we've been happy in this place, in this little pattern of existence, other people have been paying a price. The planet has been paying a price. Animals have been paying a price. The forests are dying. The atmosphere is dying. The environment is killing itself. People are dying. There are consequences to this repetitive programmed behaviour. There are consequences to this pattern. There are consequences to this comfortable way of living. There are consequences to the desire to continue. An orange card. Disharmony. What's the way forward? Can you please give us a way that we can come out of this feeling of disharmony? Nurture. What are we nurturing? I need you to give us... I have a feeling I know what this is, but it would be good if it could come out in a way that other people can physically see. acceleration of reorientation, redirection, relocating. Thank you. Okay, reorientating ourselves, becoming nonconformist, nurturing our ability to grow, nurturing our ability to change, using our ability to transform, using our knowledge of connection, interfacing with each other, alignment to higher thinking, just aligning to each other, aligning to the thought that recognition even that this is no longer working, aligning to the inner needs, the inner feelings of whatever it is in your life that you no longer resonate with. And it's only by aligning to that feeling, that thought, that knowing, that understanding about yourself that you can then pick it out of the dark where it has been hidden or where it has been shoved into a box because it's better off there. You can open it up, you can bring it out, you can take it into the light and you can go, what are you? And then you can align to a higher truth, or you can choose to stay exactly where you are. The choice is always yours, obviously. On the bottom, encoding again. Thank you. On the bottom, freedom. Sorry, that's not me farting. Is there anything else? Dichotomy. Hang on a sec. I've got my computer up here. I've got the word dichotomy. A division or contrast between two things that are or are represented as being opposed or entirely different. Dichotomy, see the dichotomy and neutrality. Because this is a dichotomy, right? Use your intuition. Everyone has intuition. And there's not a single person on the planet that doesn't have some level of intuition. It's whether or not you're aware of that doesn't really matter. You've still got that intuitive little voice inside you going, we want to turn left. And whether or not you listen to that voice is entirely up to you, and how well you listen to it, or if you've ever had the thought that maybe you need to listen to your intuition a bit better, like I did when I started off this journey, then, something to explore. But your intuition is your ability to feel the growth. It's your ability to choose the unveiling. It's your ability to seek guidance. It's your freedom. It's your alignment. It's It's your interface with the spirit self. It's your actual new. It's your ability to tap into the neutral self, or the third perspective. It's your ability to see things from an objective standpoint that allows for understanding of all perspectives, all truths, because empathy and intuition and all that good stuff is aligned in the center of you. And everybody has a center of you. Everybody has their inner shaman. Everybody has their inner mystic. And their crone. And their bloody inner warrior. Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you. Everybody has this, whether they know it now or not. Whether they choose to believe it or not, it doesn't matter. Whether you are fully assimilated and you're in a collective group of assimilated people of the same sort as you've assimilated into, whatever group you're in, or whatever belief system you're in, whatever family you're with, whatever friends you have, whatever, it doesn't matter. You've fully assimilated. You are human. You are, this is the way it is. This is the way it works. You still have moments of intuition. You still have moments where you are given a sign and you will see it and you will notice it and you will actually do something with it. Whether you realise that that's what's happened or not doesn't matter. It has happened, it will happen, and it will happen again and again and again and again and again, because it always will. It's always there. It's literally always there. By going through this orphan process, by going through this process of choosing to no longer align to this paradigm of human programming and cyclical living and purposefully believing things that will sustain your current lifestyle, rather than living like that, you've seen the veil being lifted and you're starting to witness the truth. You're starting to see the disharmony. You're starting to see the discord. You are starting to feel it. You are starting to know it. It's becoming embedded, and you are seeing that it doesn't work anymore, or it's not for you anymore, or that you need to do something about it, or that you just have the empathy to want to change. By going through the process of the orphaned process here of departing from that and moving into something else, looking for new parents, looking for new programming, looking for new understanding, you are aligning yourself to a new way of thinking and opening the door to allow potential self to come into being. Potential self that has the power to tap into your intuition, if that's the road you choose to go down. You may not choose to go down the road. You may choose to go down a road of protesting, or learning how to work in an industry so that you can do it from within. Or, you might go into politics. There are different routes people can take. If you're on this route where you're looking at this reading, then you are on the route of exploring your spirituality, of exploring the ability for spirit or for some kind of thing to come in and guide you with the use of something like cards. You're on the path of building intuition. You're on the path of opening yourself up to greater spiritual awakening and enlightenment. You're on the path of experiencing the layers, the multiple layers of the self, and you are on the path as a warrior who will bring forth change. You're on that path because you are the shaman, you are the mystic, you are the crone. You are orphaning yourself from what was once. And you are the warrior who is achieving all these things. And whatever that looks like for you, fantastic. Well done. This is not a quick or easy thing to do because this is continuous. You will find yourself aligning again and again and again and again, because you will also find yourself assimilating again and again and again and again. And as you assimilate, you do, and as you do, you realise things need to change, and as they change, you align again, and so on. This is a new cycle, but this is a cycle of growth. This is a spiral, whereas this is a cycle. This is a very tight spiral. It's always a spiral. It's so tight you can't really see the growth in the arm of the spiral. It's so tight it just makes the line thicker. Whereas this spiral, it makes the line spread out, and it makes the growth more obvious, and it brings the layers into play, and the layers become lessons in and of themselves. They become integrations, they become assimilations, and they become growth in you, because the more you grow, the more the arm of the spiral comes around, the more that reflects from 0 point consciousness, from consciousness of everything, comes out, and it reflects through you, and you are more and more and more and more able to see the truth. And if none of that made any sense, you need to watch my 0 point videos. So I just recommend that, just from the beginning. Might make more sense then. Anyway, I think this is a reading about recognising the frustration, the process of unveilment, the need for neutrality, the process of change, but also the understanding that for a lot of people who are on this journey in a spiritual sense, orphaning from old ways, accepting of new ways, and being the warrior within. Because the warrior is the strength, the warrior is the determination, the warrior is the drive, the motivator, the leader. The leader who listens. The leader who accepts help and guidance from internal sources, from the self. The voice within, the intuition, the spirit that speaks. Learn to listen, and you will learn to thrive. You will develop. You will be different. As a choice. As a choice. It's always a choice. Okay, that is that. Okay, cool. Thank you. Just over an hour, which is all right actually. It's not a bad length. So yeah, I hope this spoke to you. We'll see. Let me know. And thank you for watching. I will see you again. Take care. Bye.